Canadiens are proud to select Ivan Demidov.
Playoff hockey is back where it belongs. The city of Montreal. This team deserved it. The city deserves it. And we, the Curfew Boys, deserve playoff hockey in Montreal. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Curfew Boys podcast. Myself, Sammy, with my boy, no longer anxious Anthony, at least until puck drop to the first
until Monday night.
Until Monday night. Hey now.
Hey fucking now. I am pumped. I'm excited. It has been 4 years since we've experienced this feeling, and since 2017, because yes, 4 years ago was an amazing feeling. Went to the Stanley Cup Finals, but it was a COVID season. It was different.
It was weird.
It was a weird feeling, but it doesn't matter. We're here. We're present. We're current. The Montreal Canadiens are finally going back to the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I'm fucking excited. I'm excited.
This is awesome. This is awesome. A reminder, the episode of the Curfew Boys is sponsored by Habs Cave. If there's one person on this planet who's probably just as happy as we are, maybe more, it is Sunil from Habs Cave. Give Habs Cave a follow on Instagram. It is every Habs fan's dream of having a man cave like the Habs Cave. Follow Sunil on Instagram for the best Montreal Canadiens content out there in terms of memorabilia and behind the scenes with past legends. Sunil is the man. Big shout out to him and Habs Cave on Instagram. Also to Les Délices Lafrenaise, some of the best pastries you could find on the island of Montreal. And there's 6 locations, and we're talking about my favorite cannolis. They got cakes. They got all you want and everything you need. Visit lesdeliceslafrenaise.com for more info. They are simply delicious. And to my boy, Mike's Barbecue Rub. Hopefully the warmer weather starts showing up for playoff hockey, and with Mike's Barbecue Rub, you're going to want to try his product, made in our hometown of Montreal, Canadian-based. He uses his own barbecue rub to make his actual chips, which are absolutely delicious. And I can guarantee you all, we're going to be enjoying some of those chips as we watch the games, maybe on whatchamacallit, Anthony, that they do in the NFL. They're in the
Tailgate.
A tailgate, yes. We'll probably do a tailgate at your house, maybe, or at my place. We're definitely bringing our Mike's Barbecue Rubs chips with us, but you could use any of those barbecue rubs on vegetables, on meat, on fish. Visit mikesbarbecuerub.com. Give him a follow on Instagram. He's got great content as well. But last and not least, always rub your meat. Oh, my goodness. What the?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Guys, we got to show this up.
Oh,
to
yeah.
all our listeners out there, if you purchased it, please post, share that love and support. We want to see how it looks on you. And for those who didn't buy this t-shirt, if we have a high demand after this episode, we will restock and sell more. But look how beautiful this t-shirt is. Look how
just stand up. Just stand up a little bit, Ant. There you go. Demigod. Just hide the dad bod a little bit there. Suck in that gut. There you go. Demigod. Number 93. Oh, it's starting to feel like 93. I mean, even though we were what? We were 5 years old. We were born the same year, Ant, the same month.
5 years old in 93.
Like, again, like I don't remember any. I don't even remember what happened yesterday. So don't ask me if I remember 1993. But it really is starting to feel that way. And what I love mostly about what's going on in this city is that there's members of other fan bases that are saying that NHL playoffs is better when Montreal is in it.
100%.
And I understand, like, it's either Montreal or Columbus. And you know, I just given the Montreal Canadiens and who they are and what they represent in hockey and the hundreds and the over 100 years of history, like and we are the mecca of hockey. We see it every night that they play at the Bell Center, especially these last couple of weeks. How could you not want Montreal in the playoffs, right? Then especially if you're Canadian, well, there's just another Canadian team getting in there, but it's exciting times, man. Like,
I want to clarify something too. Something you just said feels like 93. And to all the listeners out there, we're not those types of Hab fans where, we smell the cup. It's 1993 all over
Ça
again. We're
sent la
winning.
coupe, like we say,
We're not
in Quebec.
exactly. We're not saying that when we say it feels like 93. What we're trying to say is that the feeling, the vibe, the city, the excitement in this city when Habs are in the playoffs, that's the feeling we're getting. Now, that being said, reason why we're not saying it feels like 93, look, the playoffs is a whole different beast. It's a whole different ball game. Anything could happen. Okay? I am not saying the Montreal Canadiens are going to the Stanley Cup Finals and winning it, but hey, it could happen.
You never know.
You never know. But that being said, what I said yesterday in our post-game reaction, if anyone listened to it, I want you all to hear this from us. And I really hope you guys take this in. Okay? No matter what happens from this point on, each and every one of us need to be proud of this group of players, this team, this management, because we were not supposed to be here. We were not. Okay? They said at the beginning of the season we wanted to be in the mix. It didn't look like that up to December 1st. We were dead last on December 1st. Well, second last.
We were second last. Yeah, we were 19. We had 19 points. We were
On
just
December
above.
1st.
We were just above the Chicago Blackhawks. Yeah, we had 19 points, and Chicago had 18. So we were just 1 point ahead of last place. Like
Exactly.
So imagine that.
Imagine that. So what this group of players did after that point on was beautiful. All right, guys, year 3 into the rebuild, and we're going to the playoffs. That is a plus for this future. That is a bonus for what we're experiencing in this rebuild. Okay, I don't care what happens after this. Okay, yeah, I might be sad when we get eliminated if we get to that point.
Hey, what do you mean when we get eliminated? No, can't put that out there in the universe.
I'm not putting it out there, but just to say if it happens.
If it happens,
yes,
okay.
it might hurt, it might be sad, but I won't be disappointed.
No.
I won't be mad because, like I said, this to me, the Stanley Cup feeling that I have right now for the Montreal Canadiens is the experience these young players will be getting in the next couple of days. We have a group of young players who have never experienced what they're about to experience. And that, my friends, is giving that experience to these young team for next year and the year after that goes way more than winning the Stanley Cup this year. Yes, winning the Stanley Cup is going to be a fucking great feeling, but
it's
you know what I mean. But
we could say the rebuild's over then. If
we
they
can
win
say the
cup
rebuild's
this
over,
year.
but no, you can say the fucking dynasty is starting. Let me tell you.
Oh,
but just
even better.
even better. If we win the fucking cup this year, then you can call
Jesus
this a fucking dynasty.
Christ.
But
My
just to
goodness.
say, I just want everybody to know. I don't want to hear this bullshit if they lose in 4 or 5 or whatever, saying, "Oh, these guys suck. They shouldn't have made the playoffs." All that, blah blah blah. You know how us crazy bipolar Habs fans are.
Yeah,
I don't think we're there. I don't think anybody. Well,
I don't think there might be a small. There might be. I can guarantee there will be a very 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 small percentage, but a lot of that is going to come from like Toronto's fan base if they make it through, Ottawa's fan base if they make it through, which we'll get to later. It's basically coming from our rivals. Like I don't even. Most of the time, like I'd say 50% of the time, it's either Toronto fans or Ottawa fans that are going to say that. Oh, like whatever. Like there might be some Habs fans. See, like if they get swept, God forbid, knock on wood, they might blame Marty again or something, or Matheson, like usual.
Guys,
but it's a tiny percent.
Yeah, I know, and you're gonna get those fans everywhere, right? Like yesterday, I was following I was on a Facebook Habs group. I was just reading the comments before yesterday's game, and it was just like, burning me inside. Like comments like, "Why is Monty playing? It should be Dobej," and stupid Marty making this decision. Come on, guys, relax. Like, there's a plan in place. They're following it. They're sticking to it, and they're not making any changes. So, like I said before, just to conclude, we should all be proud. There's a plan in place. They're following it. This is just an extra. There's no one. Ask Kent Hughes, ask Marty, ask Gorton. Back in October, was this team going to the playoffs? Each and every one of them said no. All right. So what we're witnessing,
but we want to be in the mix. Yeah.
So what we're seeing, what we're getting, is a bonus, and I know I'm seeing that over and over again. But I'm excited that these young players are going to be gaining that experience
Yeah.
of already they got a lot of experience of pressure these last couple of days. All
That's a good
right.
point. That's
You
a
know
good
what?
point.
Yes, it took us till game 82, and yes, we should have gotten that X 4 games ago. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason, because those 4 games that it took us to get that X, or 3 games, whatever it is, okay, that is giving these young players that fucking experience of pressure,
Yeah.
being on the spotlight, saying you need that 1 point, you need that 1 point, and you're not getting it. The next night, you're not getting it, and it's that fucking frustration and trying to, that to me already is a plus for these young players. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, it took game 82, but what no one wants that doesn't, like, the true fans out there, or the realistic NHL fans watching this, should look at it as, no, they just gained experience feeling pressure like that for 4 games trying to get those 2 points. You don't
Yeah.
teach that in hockey. You
No,
don't teach that in hockey.
it's are
That
you
comes.
exactly. No, I totally agree. It comes in those moments, like, Jacob Fowler said this when he got drafted. Pressure is a privilege. And it was a great way for proving maybe some of the doubters wrong within our own fan base. Uh you know what? I'm sorry if I cut you off. I don't know if
No,
you have
no,
one
no,
last
no,
thing
no,
to
no,
say,
no, no.
because
I'm just repeating myself, but then
there's
I'll keep saying it throughout the episode. But go ahead.
there's a couple of things that you mentioned, that there's a plan in place. They didn't expect this. So for me, there was an episode, I think it was just myself and Joey, and it had to have been after that winning streak that they were going on after the Four Nations tournament, and they were like in and out of that wild card spot. They were in and out with Columbus, with the Rangers a little bit too. The Islanders not so much. I went on saying that this season is a successful one, and we can call this season mission accomplished. Whether they make the playoffs or not, it was mission accomplished based off of what the expectations were back in October. We want to be in the mix. We're not expected to make the playoffs, but we want to be in the mix. Okay. So at that point of that season, I had considered it a successful one, mission accomplished based off the expectations. Okay. What this team has managed to do, especially after a terrible October and still not so great November, the start of December when Patrick Laine came back from that injury and they traded for Alexandre Carrier, that's when things turned. And even at that, it wasn't perfect in December before the holidays. Sorry, that's not true. Before the holidays, it was great. After the holidays, they were on a bit of a losing streak as well. And then we're all like, thank God they got the break from the Four Nations because they needed it badly. So this team overachieved big time, and it's a great thing. I couldn't have said it any better, Anthony. These kids experience what it's like playing under pressure for a market like Montreal, and now they're going to gain some playoff experience. We talked about, like, we know that Suzuki and Caulfield, they were part of that beautiful Stanley Cup run. Jake Evans was on the team too before he got injured, but he was still part of there. Okay, and then there's obviously Brendan Gallagher. There was Josh Anderson, and there was Yoel Armia. But man, this is that. But that again, COVID restrictions under a pandemic and all that. The last time we felt a full Bell Center was back in 2017 when the Canadiens faced the Rangers, lost to Henrik Lundqvist and the Rangers. But we had Shea Weber and we had Radulov too. Andrei Markov was still on the team. Max Pacioretty was still on the team. Alex Galchenyuk was still on the team. So the only player on the current Montreal Canadiens roster right now that experienced a full 82-game season where you make the playoffs and you play in a full building, doing a proper Eastern Conference playoff road trip, whatever you want to call it, like the experience of that, it was only Brendan Gallagher.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. And I don't know if Carey Price is going to be somewhat involved with the team right now as they're going through as they're starting the playoffs and going through it. But that's not what I really want to talk about. I want to talk about, you said there's a plan in place and they're sticking to the plan. Okay. So I'm about to say, Ant, what I wanted to say.
Yes, I was waiting for that.
Okay. So I'm going to start it off, and then after I like to talk about yesterday's game there against Carolina. But so throughout my career, and as we get older, you're a father. Like I might become one, not in the near future. I will become one in the near future, but
What's going on?
I'm
There's
just
something, you know.
I'm just saying I'm what like I do my best to try to be the best person I can be and provide some kind of leadership. So right now the theme I'm going to talk about is leadership, okay? Leadership starts at the top. There's many levels of leadership, but no matter what, it always starts at the top level. We could say Jeff Molson. I think he's demonstrated leadership in terms of trusting his gut feeling of starting a rebuild and then trusting Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes into doing that. Okay. So you could say that Jeff Molson has that leadership. To me, this year, he probably won't get that much credit for it because when we think of leadership and why this team made the playoffs, well, who can we mention? Well, we can mention Nick Suzuki, the captain. He's demonstrated leadership after the trade deadline. Absolutely. Let's go a step above him. Marty St. Louis. Well, he's showing leadership how, hey, guys, I'm not abandoning this team. I am not abandoning you guys. Block the noise. It's us. We're doing this together. We're going to find a way to do this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I know I'm misquoting here, but we all catch my drift. I personally think the unsung hero and reason why the Canadiens are in a playoff spot, I'm giving that leadership quality to Kent Hughes. And I'm going to explain why. Good on Nick Suzuki. That took leadership to go to your general manager and say, hey, I know you might have a plan at trade deadline. Please don't trade anybody because we got something good here. There's the chemistry. We're a family. Please don't trade. Please don't trade. Please don't trade. And we talk about plans. I think Kent Hughes might have deviated for some of those plans a little bit, but in doing so, it's he's still going in that same direction. He's still going like he sees the end goal. He's still going that way. He might have taken a slight turn by not trading any players, but they're still going the same direction, still following that plan. For me, Kent Hughes demonstrated true leadership by listening to his captain and also by giving some accountability to his players and his coaches. Okay? He said, "You know what?" He listened to his captain and was like, "This is what you want. I have full faith in you guys being able and you, Nick, in carrying this team and winning these important games to make the playoffs. But if you don't, it's on you. It's not going to be on me." And that, like, a good leader is able to show that, listen, I do trust you, but if you don't deliver on your promise, I'll deliver on my promise. Are you able to deliver on yours? And if you don't, well, you're accountable. And if I don't, well, then I'm accountable. And I'm sure, Anthony, we could talk about the history of the NHL as much as we want with insider information and people have been. I'm sure there's general managers that must have made promises out there saying, I won't trade you or I won't trade anybody. And they decide to do that because maybe they lied to their faces, or maybe something suddenly came up where they're like, oh my God,
Or
I
they
have
use
to.
the comment "business is business,"
Or,
like Benjamin said,
yeah, but
one
not
little
just
pee
him.
by a dog.
Well, he was misquoted because he thought Radulov and Markov were going to be loyal to him, but they weren't. It's not him. It's not him being loyal to them. It was them being loyal to him. That's what people don't understand, is that he actually thought Markov and Radulov were going to sign and be loyal to the Montreal Canadiens, but they weren't. Although the Markov thing was still a bit weird, but at least Radulov, like, he thought he was going to sign back, but Bergevin was like, if you want loyalty, get a dog. Basically saying get a dog because a dog won't disappoint you, whereas people might. Anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked here, but my whole point in all this is that, to me, Kent Hughes demonstrating leadership by keeping his promise to his captain, not training anybody. What does that do? It trickles downwards. It sends a message to your coach saying, hey, I trust you getting the job done with the players you have. And what does that send to the message to your captain? Hey, I trust you, and the boys are able to get this done. And it starts with you. And look what happened,
And what does it do to the team? It gains trust as a whole,
dude.
saying that, hey,
There you
you know
go.
what? Like, let's talk about,
Our
let's
our
relate
our,
this
our, our general manager trusts us. Like, you know what kind of confidence boost that gives to the group? Like
100%.
there and so this, like, I've been thinking about it all day, like all week almost, but like I was kind of rehearsing how to say this, but he's Kent Hughes is the unsung hero. Sometimes the best move is the move you don't make. We might get people that don't agree with me, and that's okay. But
But you know what, Sam? Like, and I agree with what to say yes, Kent Hughes is the unsung hero. But I think, like you said before, there's leadership at every level, but it starts from the top. You said it right. There's leadership at every level.
mm-hmm,
And what's good about this team and this management and this group of guys, which I'm so excited for the future, and I've been saying this
mm-hmm,
for so long, why this team is being built how this team is being built properly. And I know I kind of mean it when I say it, and I know I joke around, but when I say dynasty, if we do this right, if they do this right, it could lead to that, because there is leadership at every level, and every level trusts each other. And
yeah,
that's a perfect example, Sam, where Suzuki goes to his higher leadership. That higher leadership listens to that guy, because he
mm-hmm,
doesn't have to fucking listen to Suzuki. He's like, who the fuck are you? I'm the guy. I'm the manager. You're a captain. You deal with it on the ice, and I'll deal with it outside the ice.
yeah,
But no, he found a way to get everybody involved.
yeah,
And doing it that way, you build that chemistry as a whole. You
yep,
build that family. Why are some families more successful than others? Where, like, there's the mom and the dad, right? Of course,
mm-hmm,
they're the leadership of the house, and then there's the kids. But if you give that trust to your kids and give them that freedom, then there's gonna be less bad things being done, right? And this is me speaking like a
mm-hmm.
father. So
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you put
of
too much
course, of course.
restrictions, and and there's no trust, and when there's no trust between a father and a son or whatever, then there's
Mm-hmm.
rebellious, like they rebel,
They
right?
rebel. Yeah,
So put that into this group of guys. Everybody's working together. Everybody is trusting each other.
yep.
Everybody is working on this plan together. I keep saying the word together,
But that's
and
exactly what it is. It's
that to
but
me is that
didn't Marty use that word?
yes.
Didn't what did he say? Was it the loss against Chicago, or the loss against, was it Toronto? It was either Toronto or Chicago, but it was before the last game. He's like, it was important for us to stick together. It's
That,
right
that
there. It's the
that's the
proof is in the
key
pudding.
of
The proof is in the pudding.
the key to success in this group of guys is doing it together. There's no one higher than, okay, yes. If you want to look at the chart, there's how do you say, there's what's that what I'm looking for?
Hierarchy,
The chart. There's
a
okay, there's a
triangle.
hierarchy, right? And there's going to be a
Oh,
hierarchy in
like,
everything you do
yeah,
in life.
a structural pyramid.
There's a social
You mean?
hierarchy, yes. But at the
Yeah,
end of the day, yes, there's Molson, Hughes, Kent, whatever,
yeah,
Gorton,
which is pretty
Hughes,
much that.
and Suzuki.
There's leadership in the management, the coaching staff, and then the players.
So that's going to always be there, and it is what it is. But like I said, if you work together, the word together, I'm going to keep saying that all episode. Maybe we should call this fucking episode Together.
Wait.
You're going to find success, and it's working. It's working. And the the players are building that chemistry, that bond, that trust. And when you have trust with someone higher than you, it works magic. And we're seeing that magic. We're seeing that fucking magic all season long. And I'm just excited. I'm very excited for the future. The future is bright, and we're witnessing it in front of us. And
Well,
I don't know, I'm just
I,
excited.
I gotta praise Marty too, though. Like, I can't praise Kent Hughes without praising Marty, because it's amazing how the month of October, November, like, a lot of people kind of like wanted him out,
Mhm.
and you're there, like, folks, like it's year 2 of a rebuild, and it's year 2 of his NHL coaching career. like it's not that losing is normal, but it's in a sense, it's kind of like to be expected, and two, this season just showed that 82 games is a long season. It's this a season is long, man, and but at the same time too, it's so weird. Like it feels like the season flew by. I don't know if it's just me here, but
It flew by because we got excited, right?
okay,
Like after that run we were having to get to this point, when we were climbing that ladder, it was going fast because we were having fun.
and
We were
couldn't
all
wait for the
having
next
fun
game.
watching the game. We couldn't wait for the next one. We couldn't. When you're losing and you're fighting for that last place spot, like we've been for the last 3 seasons, the fucking season is dragging. It's long. It's okay. Let's hurry up and finish this off so we can get our pick and continue to rebuild. But this season, it went like this, and then it started climbing up, and just that climbing up, we're all fucking excited. Like
that climb up in December, yeah.
So I want to praise someone else, okay? And I'm sorry to all our other Curfew Boys, Zook, Joey, Chris, and Adrian, because I'm sorry, but the only 2 people that praise this guy, I lost what I was gonna say, but
Day in, day out.
Day in and day out, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Is you and I, Sam. We never gave up on this one guy.
Brendan Gallagher.
And this season,
yeah,
we've always said Gallagher is the heart of this team. Yes, he was getting older. Yes, he was declining. Yes, we overpaid him for what he's done, right? Like, we should have given him the salary when he was performing in his peak, not after the fact. And that was Bergevin, giving that contract using his heart. So we gave him what he should have gotten when he was performing, not after the fact, right? Like we all said. So a lot of us were saying we want to get rid of this contract. We want to buy him out, get rid of him, fuck that, fuck this. But you and I were the only ones that still saw something left in him. A little thing was still left, and it was just not coming out. And this is the season it came out.
Thank God, though.
This season has been one of the best seasons of his career. Okay? And I'm not just saying that stats-wise, because he's had better seasons, of course. But based on, his decline, this season, not only has he performed stats-wise, but his heart on that ice, game in and game out, the way he plays, the fight he puts in to help this team. You want to speak about leadership, Sam? There's 1,000%. Leadership at every level. Yes, Suzuki's your captain. But he's the leadership of the heart of this fucking team.
But it starts with Suzuki, but it doesn't end with Suzuki. It
trickles down, of
course.
It
trickles down to it trickles down to Mike Matheson. It trickles down to Lane Hudson in his rookie year. It always stayed with Brendan Gallagher, but it still trickles down to him.
I think we should praise everyone in their own ways, right? Everybody played a big role in this team, in this winning, and where they are today. So I just want to go back to Gallagher. To me, I don't know what next year brings to him. Maybe he's done after. Maybe this was the year he shines and he goes back to whatever he's wanting to do. Get rid of him. But again, this is what you and I have been waiting for him to just come out of his shell, right? This year was the year he just
he took that he took that veteran leadership to another level this year. And I'm happy you're bringing him up, but I don't think he's the only one. I don't think we could talk about Brendan Gallagher without mentioning Josh Anderson this season as well.
And that's another one.
So they're line mates together. And I think they thrived on that. They thrived with each other, knowing that that's their role now. Like Brendan Gallagher's role, during that decline was like, he's not going to be that 30 goal scorer anymore. But hell, he scored 20, 21 goals this season. That's still not bad considering where his career is going. But the Josh Anderson that we saw last season is not the Josh Anderson we had this season. The Josh Anderson this season is in a much better place physically, mentally, big time. embraced the role, got a new role by Marty, and embraced that role. Both of them together, I'm sure they brought the veteran leadership that they have. They always had with them. Like Josh Anderson had that when they went to the Cup Finals, that Stanley Cup run in 2021. He was there. Brendan Gallagher was there too. I mean, the video of the blood just gushing down, the picture, like that right there alone says he's a warrior. Those two, it's absolutely, Anthony. It's their turn now to really provide any sort of veteran leadership.
But, and that's what you need, right?
You know who's gonna need you know which player is gonna need Josh Anderson's mentorship? Uri Slafkovsky. Like if you don't think Uri Slafkovsky is going to benefit watching Josh Anderson play against the Washington Capitals, maybe go match up against Tom Wilson on a physical aspect, like this is such a beautiful and perfect opportunity for Uri Slafkovsky to know, as a first overall pick of the Montreal Canadiens, to know what it's like to play playoff hockey in Montreal. And now you're going to go learn what it's like to be physical and to use that big body, because Uri Slafkovsky is showing it now. That game yesterday against Carolina, the game against Carolina on Wednesday night, like 2 out of the 3, he only got 1 assist on Caden Gooley's first goal. But the other 2 goals, he didn't get an assist, but he was the sole reason why those plays happened and it ended up as a goal. It's because he used his big body, he used his forechecking capability and his stick checking, won puck battles, got them to where they had to go, to the next puck carrier, the next puck supporter, tic-tac-toe, goes to Gooley, boom. And that goes in. Another one too. It finds Cartier, it gets to Hudson, finds Cartier, finds Suzuki, snipes it. Like yesterday, the game against Carolina, I really thought was Uri Slafkovsky showing now, like, this is how I'm gonna have to play in the playoffs, and even a bit more energy now too.
But what do we say many times in the last couple of episodes, where the first line needs to show up, and when they do show up,
everybody follows.
Everybody follows, and the last 3 games, they were nowhere to be found. Okay, Toronto, Ottawa, and Chicago. Chicago. They started waking up a little bit, but it wasn't enough. Right?
Yeah, and it was
so yesterday they finally showed up. Suzuki's beautiful goal, Slafkovsky, the way he was playing, Caulfield. I think the whole team kind of showed up.
Caulfield hit the post. Yeah, it
wasn't a perfect game, but they did what they had to do.
But the way they played against Carolina, and yeah, I get it. Carolina, they benched most of their regulars. They benched Aho. They benched not Svechnikov. They benched Stahl. They benched Jarvis. I get it. But listen, they still won. Imagine if they lost. It would have been
if we would have lost yesterday, Sam, I'm sorry. Like, yes, remember like 2 episodes ago, I said like we're right there, and I'll be very sad if they don't make it. Even though we should be proud, but it just hurts if they would have lost.
Yeah,
if they would have lost last night, I would have not. Like, I would have been saying, you know what, they deserve to lose, because you had it was there, you know.
Exactly, and they
you're playing a third.
They should have
fucking a bunch of AHL players. You need to win this, right? Like, you need to win this game, and they showed up.
1,000%. They had to play that way against Chicago. It was just it was only Demidov that showed up, and even though Demidov didn't have that many minutes in the third period, like you see what this kid is gonna bring talent wise.
Yeah.
And oh my god, like the thought of it, of Ivan Demidov going up against his idol Alex Ovechkin in the playoffs, like, man, I think this is a bit of a blessing that the playoffs for the Canadiens is starting Monday and not over the weekend.
They're getting a nice break.
But not only are they getting a break, but they're having enough time to go to work and actually start working on things. Thinking of, like, because right now you only have to focus on one team instead of multiple teams throughout the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you focus on Washington. They're gonna look. I'm sure Marty and his coaching staff, like, they're gonna do, like, I got a big shout out to Trevor Letowski and to and to Stefan Robida, man. Stefan Robida, as a defensive coach, getting Lane Hudson to probably win the Calder Trophy, the best rookie defenseman in the NHL, the best rookie in the NHL this season. Lane, like, it's so funny how the game against Chicago, like, Demidov stole the show, but yet Lane Hudson surpassed Chris Chelios as most points by a rookie defenseman in all time Montreal Canadiens history. And
I
then another,
realized that, Sam. I
but
think
we
Demidov
did
stole
not.
the show because we had an episode
Yeah,
that night,
well,
and we did not bring up the Chelios record breaking.
we did
We just
because
forgot.
because we were freaking out about Demidov's debut, and we were pissed about Chicago spoiling the debut, that we completely forgot about Lane Hudson's, like, he broke the record, and then he got another assist, and he tied Larry Murphy, I think, for most assists in a rookie season. Like, Larry Murphy, Hall of Famer, Stanley Cup champion with the Pittsburgh Penguins back in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Like Lane Hudson too. Like, Lane Hudson, the playoffs, like, he played big moments during his college years. Caden Gooley had such a redemption game because Chris brought up that point where that hit against in Chicago that kind of woke up. Like, they got the penalty, Chicago scored on the power play, and it kind of fueled the fire in them, and they never looked back, right? And then I loved how before the game, Caden Gooley's like, we're gonna bring our. He's like, he was so confident, saying that we learned our lesson against Chicago. It ain't happening again. We're bringing our A game, and not only does he say that, and he backs it up with his play, 2 goals, like.
I think that's the first time he had a multi-goal scoring game.
It is.
And what a night to even do that, you know? I mean, he had a
Perfect.
3-goal game yesterday, but even TSN said he got a hat trick because he scored in his own net.
Yeah, except the puck bumped off it. But he gets 2 goals. He has like over 5 hits, 3 blocked shots. It's like yesterday, Caden Gooley, just him too. He's showing his own way of being a leader amongst the defense. You know what I mean? So, like, it's such a big full circle, man.
Everything is connecting. You know, sorry to cut you off, but, you know, and I'm not agreeing to this fully, and I'm sure you won't agree to it either, and Joey won't either, but there was someone on TSN 690 today, I forgot who they interviewed. He's a guy who comes every the lawyer, Macamera? I can't say his name.
Erica Macramella?
Yes.
Hey,
so he was on the episode
today.
Yeah. He was on the episode today, and he made a comment which made me question it. And I don't fully agree with him, but this is something I would agree more than you and Joey, because I believe in character and more than talent and all that stuff. But he said the rebuild is done. All they're missing. Sorry, let me rephrase that. He said all the pieces are there.
Yes.
All that's missing is maturity. So basically, he's saying this team is ready to start contending.
Yeah, I agree with.
There's no more pieces missing. Like, there's no. We got our, you know what I mean? Like, there's no third liner missing or second liner or whatever. Like, we're not missing any players. We're missing security, maturity.
I agree with him, and
not fully, because I'm gonna say finish your thought, and then I'll tell you why I don't fully agree with that.
Well, because I don't think,
surprisingly,
I don't think what he's saying by they need maturity. I don't think he's saying because they're immature.
No,
I don't think he means.
I think he went to say experience, maturity of.
Well, but maturity is maturity is growth, basically.
Yeah.
So and that's what they need to experience these types of games, like you said at the beginning of the episode. These pressure building games, they need to experience that a little bit more often. Now they're gonna have a taste of playoffs, so they're gonna need to experience a little bit more of that. I talked about maturity in Uri Slavkovsky's game, and most of the time, like, there's maturity because he's young. He's 20 years old. We could be his older brother. But in his case, too, it's the physical maturity. He still needs to grow in his body. But I agree almost at 100% what he's saying. The pieces are in place. There still needs to be maturity from who else, though? We're looking at the Montreal Canadiens, we're looking at the surface, but we got to look underneath too.
But that's where I'm saying that they're missing.
There's David Reinbacher. Well, I think he means the pieces are there in terms of if you look, all the guys, all the players that Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon drafted, they're all one way or another within the organization now signed, except for Michael Hage. If you think about it, for the most part, the more popular names out there, like Atos Koivu and the guys, almost all the players on the Demidov draft, it's just Demidov that's there. Everybody else they're still in Europe and they're still in their junior teams and whatnot. Okay, but all the players that they practically drafted in 2022, Juraj Slafkovsky, except for Vincent Rohrer, who's still in Europe, almost everybody is in the Canadiens organization in Laval as well. If you look at the David Reinbacher draft, they're almost all there too. Jacob Fowler is there. Florian Jacka is there. Tyler Thorpe is there. You know what I mean? And obviously Reinbacher, Fowler too. So so all those pieces, they're all signed. They're all within the Canadiens organization. They're all within the program. It's just now maturity is just getting professional experience and being physically ready, being mentally ready to play in the show and to be part and to see where they can bring and to fulfill their roles of where they can potentially be within the lineup of this team.
Yep. And what worries me, and again, not to discourage this what we're going to experience coming in the next couple of days and next season, and not to downgrade this team, but we're on a high right now. We're going into the playoffs. But you just mentioned 5 players who are not in the lineup, who are still in Laval. They're still young, no experience of NHL. This might be just a nice feel and touch of the playoffs, but I think next year we're going to go a little bit backwards. Why am I saying that? It's because now you're going to be getting rid of some of the veterans, right? I'm sorry, but I don't see Gallagher doing this again next year, right? You have the Dvorak, you have Anderson, you have Savard, all these key players who played a big role this year to get to this point. Because
and you have Armia too,
and Armia, that's it.
Yeah.
So all these guys are 90% gone next year, right? So now you have to bring in these younger players, Reinbacher and everybody. So they have to now gain the experience. So I think it's gonna be we're on a high, we're here this year. Next year we might drop, not fully. I'm not saying next year is gonna be a tank year. I think we're gonna drop a little bit, and then year 6 from this rebuild, we go back up. You know what I mean?
I see. So believe it or not, I thought of it as okay, let's say
unless in the plan you're going to get someone July 1st who's an established player, a veteran like a Marner. You know what I mean?
No, Marner's not coming. But
no, I know, but you know what I mean. I'm saying, I think that type player too.
Well, listen, if let's say they don't, let's just speculate. We're just shooting the shit here. Let's say they don't bring back David Savard. Let's just say. Does Kent Hughes go get a veteran defenseman that shoots right? Or do they feel that maybe David Reinbacher is ready to make, or maybe even Logan Mailloux? It's those two. It's at the end of the day, those two young players need to force management's hand. And no matter what, they'll always respect the veterans that are ahead of them, but it's also their job to go after their position. That's the nature of sports. You see it in football. You see it in hockey. It's soccer and baseball. I don't know how it's just, you see it in football. You see, I work with an ex-CFL player from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and he said at his combine during his draft, his interview, he said apparently all of his answers were great except for one. When they asked him, your position, you have this veteran he's done this, he's done that, what do you think? And he said, I respect him and all this and all that. And then apparently they're like, we don't want that answer. What we want to hear is that you are going to do everything you can to take his spot one day. You know what I mean? And so David Reinbacher and Logan Mailloux have to have that mindset. if they want to make the NHL. No matter how much you respect a David Savard, let's say they bring him back or something for whatever. Do they go get a veteran? Yoel Armia, are they bringing him back, or do they feel like Emil Heineman can take over that spot? And then maybe what if Florian Jacky has such a great training camp that him or Luke Tuck? But I get the concern, Auntie, because we're there wondering, it's like, okay, Owen Beck is part of the piece, David Reinbacher is part of the piece, Jacob Fowler is part of the piece.
And these are all players that haven't experienced the NHL yet. That's why I feel like we're going to go backwards a little bit.
I think the worry is having more rookies again coming into this lineup. Is it going to affect their level of play where they could stay high in the standings? I get that. I thought of that too, believe it or not. I just think though, but again, they have to evaluate, is Caden Gooley able to take that next step and become a leader and a veteran? In his, I mean, he's still young, but he's going to enter year 3, or is it it's going to be year 3, exactly, 2022. So it's still young, but you could still be a young leader. Is Arbor Jacky able to get into that role? Let alone is he able to get in the lineup? But that's a bit of a different.
I want to speak about that. I don't know if this is a perfect entrance here.
No, we could, but like my point is like, yeah, I get that and I think that's what the maturity is. It's. But you know what, Ant? Washington did that too. Washington they brought up a couple of guys from Hershey, but the thing about Washington is players within their farm team that are now in the Capitals, like they won in the Calder Cup, and Laval might win it this year. So that alone might just give an extra boost to these players that want to make this lineup. But yeah, you want to talk about Arbor Jacky? Go for it.
Before we start, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
What type of player do you think? I want to ask you, not what you've seen or what you want him to be.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the role of Jacky is for this team?
He's got to be the for me, his role is the protector. Not like the enforcer, but like not okay. So I want him to be for me, like his role has to be he protects, but he brings physicality, and he's just got to clear the fucking puck away from his net and clear bodies away from the goalie. That's it.
So he's more of an enforcer to you.
Well, I mean, usually enforcers are the guys that just drop the gloves all the time. Like, I don't think you'll see much of that in the playoffs. Like, it could happen. But for me, it's like, no, like, we need him to get into the opposition's face and make them regret either coming in front of the net or going into the corners.
Okay. Why I'm asking this question, and again, I'm not fully quoting because I don't remember the exact words, and I'm gonna thank 690 because I listened to it all day today, so I have a lot of information that I got from there. So thank you, TSN 690 and everybody on that show. But they brought up this question. Jacky has not made the lineup. We don't know if he's gonna be on the lineup, but it would be a big mistake if they don't start him right away.
I think so too.
Depends how they do it. So what they were mentioning today was, what type of role is Jacky? Because to them, whoever who was speaking, I forgot his name. Jacky is, yes, the guy, like the physical guy, the guy who's going to be the scary one on the ice. But not only that, he's the talented defenseman like Savard. Okay? So a mix of the Savard guy and also the physical guy. But if you don't start him right away, and then Wilson, game 1, hurts a Hudson or a Gallagher or a Suzuki or a Caulfield or Demidov, and then you call up Jacky on game 2 because of what just happened, now you're just putting a title to Jacky, which is you're the enforcer, which can fuck him up. And then you're taking away the type of player that you want him to be. Because if you're putting him after an incident, then you're just pretty much giving him a title and saying, he's the enforcer.
Yeah, I see.
Whereas if you put him game 1, make him be the player he is, because we all know he's talented. He's not a rack. He's not a Wilson. He's a guy who can perform and play, stop the puck.
Tom Wilson scored 30 goals, so.
But okay, but you know what I mean. Like
he's not just there to fight. He's not
there
just
to fight. Exactly. So you need to be careful of how you place this guy in the lineup.
Yeah, I see what you mean and what they've said, but yeah, for me, it's you need someone to send not send the message, but by having him on the ice in the presence on the bench, is that no, you're not going to push us around. I know Josh Anderson can handle Tom Wilson, but I don't want it to be just on Josh Anderson. We need Arbor Xhekaj in there. The problem we're seeing right now is that Jaden Struble is doing enough to stay in the lineup. You can't take David Savard out because he's a Stanley Cup champion. He's a veteran, and he shoots on the right side. Like, we take him out of the lineup, that leaves you with Alexandre Carrier, who's the only right-handed shooting defenseman. At some point, it's getting ridiculous, okay? So it's I truly believe Marty is stuck between a rock and a hard place. I think he wanted Xhekaj back in the lineup, but how do you change? Like Struble wasn't playing bad. He
Struble earned his spot. I'm sorry, but he earned his spot.
So if Xhekaj goes in, is he making the defensive squad better, or was it more or less the same with him or Struble in? The only reason why we're there put Xhekaj is because we're there thinking like, well, he's going to protect everybody. Yeah, sure, but it's also
Savard is the only. They were saying today on 690 again was that Savard is the guy that would make sense play wise to switch, but it doesn't make sense because he's your veteran and a Stanley Cup experience guy. So you cannot take that away. But if you were to take that away and not look at it as your Stanley Cup veteran, then yes, Xhekaj is a better player than Savard.
Well, yeah, I mean, Savard, he's getting older. Like, he's going to slow down.
But you cannot get rid of Savard.
You can't take him out of the lineup. You just can't. He's our best penalty killer. You need him.
He won 2 back-to-back Stanley Cups with Tampa. Like, you need him on the ice.
And whether it was bubble, playoff, or COVID, he still won. You still got to fight to win it. So, you know what? There's one. Listen, the Canadiens, they made the Stanley Cup playoffs with Mike Matheson as their number one defenseman and with Sam Montembeault as their goalie. You got to give those two credit, man. Like, Lane Hudson is one of the big reasons why we're in the playoffs, but so is Mike Matheson and so is Sam Montembeault. And, like, how can you not be happy for Sam Montembeault right now? Like, what if he decides to be a fucking wall during these playoffs? You know what I mean?
You know what? A caller called in today, made me laugh. Of course, he was a St. Leo guy, and the way he was talking.
Me, bro. I've been watching hockey for 20 years, bro. Okay, look, you gotta fucking listen, okay, bro. Monty, he's good.
No, he wasn't even saying that. He's like, me, for me, Dolbesh. Dolbesh is your guy.
No.
And then but he made a comment. No, but But it was funny what he said because I've always said this. It takes that bad game from a goalie, put in your backup, and then win it all. Like you've seen it in
like Carolina with Cam Ward,
Cam Ward, Pittsburgh with Murray,
Tristan. No, you're right. Yeah, with Murray. With Murray, not Jerry. Excuse me.
So he was saying, Monty's gonna have a bad game 2, and Dolbesh is gonna come game 3 and win it all. And I was laughing because it's something that I've always said works, right? I'm hoping it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hoping that the ending happens, but
yes,
I don't know.
Dolbesh too. He's getting like it's funny. So the Canadiens sent Joshua Roy down, and rightfully so. The kid's got to play. Laval's making the playoffs. Let him go play. But Jakub Dolbesh, he was supposed to go to Laval too. He's not going anymore. And what that also does is it gives Caden Primo the I guess a bit of a peace of mind that like the other Laval starter is not there anymore. It's just Primo and Fowler at this point for Laval going into the playoffs. So like this is going to be great for Jakub Dolbesh too. Is he going to get any games? Unless Monty has a fucking shit one. Like let's say Monty plays 2 bad games again. Knock on wood. He plays 2 bad games or 3 bad games in a row where they're down 3-0 and Marty has to make a change somewhere and he puts Dobesh in. And hopefully, if that happens, like then you fucking hope, yeah.
But look, Monty last night was the goalie we always wanted to. You know what I mean? Like
he was spot on last night, man.
He was
spot on
because yes, we had a decent game. It wasn't a perfect game, but at one point, Carolina just put their foot on the gas, and I was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you guys made it stop, but they just came out strong." And second period, I think at one point, the 10-minute mark, it was 12 shots to 2 again. Montreal was outshot, and if it wasn't for Monty, guys, I said yesterday when I was watching the game, we need to keep this lead all game long, because if we lose the lead at least once, forget it. We would have lost yesterday. So,
I think the big momentum or the turning point was when Suzuki scored. Well, not just when Suzuki scored, and then thank God Caden Gooley scored with like a minute and something remaining. Like those 2 goals, that I think that put the Canadiens in a much more comfortable spot. Yeah. Where in the third period, I thought they had a decent third period. I thought they played pretty good compared to like the game against Chicago and all that. But they kept the defense simple. Mike Matheson kept his game simple, and it was great. It was fantastic. And Jake Evans was playing defense. Brendan Gallagher, he was blocking shots when we all thought he got injured. So
I got scared there.
Everybody did. But this was the perfect way for them to get into the playoffs, because I think we're about to say the same thing, because I think a lot of us were relying on Columbus losing, but I know Columbus is playing tonight, Thursday night, April 17th. Here,
I think it's 6-0 right now
for who?
Columbus. It was second period 5-0.
So imagine that. So,
but they won 6-1.
So my goodness. So can you fucking imagine? Oh my God. So there you go. But this feels so much better knowing that we clinched on our home turf, the final game of the season. Like, we did it ourselves. We didn't have to rely on another. We didn't have to rely on another team losing or winning. Blah 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 blah.
We did it ourselves. But Marty said something in an interview a few days ago where, when they tied against Chicago, I think a question was asked, "Are you disappointed or whatever?" And he said, "Look, we still did something. The boys did something, right? Like they put them in a really good. They put themselves in a good position for Game 82. Like the point with Toronto and the point with Chicago put them in a spot where they just needed a point at Game 82. Not a must win or a position where you had to win and hope that Columbus loses at the same.
Right.
It wasn't
like Detroit last year, actually.
It wasn't a multi-scenario situation. It was get your 1 point. That's it. That's all. Because at the last 5 minutes of the third period, when Carolina scored that second goal, yes, there was a bit of fear in us, but not as much, because if they would have tied with 2 minutes left, you're going overtime.
Like
you know what I mean? Like,
dude, 1,000%, because there wasn't a sense of like, I don't think the players were sensing panic. No, they were playing defensively, but they weren't panicking. They weren't icing the puck all the fucking time. Like, it happened twice, but it led to a Jake Evans open net goal. Yeah, there was no sense of panic, even though there was pressure on them. There was no panic. No, 1,000%. That's put
themselves in a very good position, because people are like, "Well, you lost. You didn't clinch against Ottawa." It doesn't matter. Yes, okay, it brought us to the end and added the pressure experience. Blah blah blah. But you still got that point with Toronto. You got that point with Ottawa. And you put yourself in a scenario that it was just go on the ice, get a point, walk off. You didn't put yourself in a scary position where you had to, like you said, Detroit last year, they played us, they beat us, but then they had to look at the standings to see if Philly won, which they won and they didn't make it. So that win meant nothing, right? You don't want to be
1,000%. No, 1,000%. My goodness. Oh my God. Before we call it quits here. Well, first of all, just speaking of two other teams, I'm actually outside of our series. I'm excited for the Battle of Ontario.
We
I
haven't
really,
seen it
really
like
am.
year
The,
2000 or
so
something.
2004, I think.
Yeah.
Or around there. Once again, the Battle of Florida, even though it's becoming a bit too repetitive, it's still always a great series. And I'm also looking forward to Dallas against Colorado, which is so unfortunate that it has to happen in the first round because I thought those were going to be the two teams to battle it out for the Stanley Cup Finals. But it is what it is. But my goodness, just thinking about the Canadiens playing Washington brought me back to 2010 when Yaro Halak just fucking stole the show. Where every stop sign in Montreal had instead of arrêt in French or stop, which don't really exist much, everybody started putting halak on them.
Yeah.
Like I remember the glove save, Mike Camilleri scoring the goals, Yarrow spot checked, I think was scored a goal on the point. Marc-Andre Fleury on the power play, Maxime Lapierre and Dominic Moore. They were playing their shutdown role too. Like Brian Giunta, Scott Gomez was actually good too during those playoffs. It's like I'm getting a bit of those flashbacks. PK Subban made his NHL debut, who was partnered up with Hal Gill. I remember Hal Gill just fucking lying across the crease, covering the whole net almost from post to post. So you never know, man. Washington that year was the best team in hockey, and 8th place seed Montreal Canadiens knocked them out in 7. So I think I'm gonna go with Montreal in 7 again, man. I can't root against our boys, man. I can't.
I'm
I
not
can't
going
do
to
it.
root against my boys, so I'm going to choose them. But
It's gonna be tough.
no,
Washington's a good team.
I think they can take it in 5 or 6.
Oh shit!
I'm
Okay.
saying Montreal in 5. If I have to do the
Well,
bracket, I'm choosing Montreal in 5.
if the Canadians can cause a bit of panic to the Capitals as far as like the goaltending position is concerned, if you could get to them, like if you could like they might face Charlie Lindgren, former
I'm
Montreal
going to say
Canadian,
two
right?
things.
Yeah.
I'm going to say two things of why I think Montreal in 5. One, they won their Stanley Cup. They played all season for Ovechkin's record.
Yeah.
The moment they got that, they declined. It is what it is.
Well,
I'm not taking
they were benching their regulars too after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking it away from them. They are a talented team. But I think they had that, when Montreal went to the 21 Stanley Cup finals, they had no one on the fucking ice. Okay.
Yeah.
They went to the finals because they were playing for Price and Weber. That was their drive. This season, Washington's drive was Ovechkin. So that's why I feel like they might not have that much of a drive for the cup. And another reason why I'm saying that the drive is not there is because Ovechkin said today that he's not retiring
Yeah, I saw
anytime
that
soon.
too. Yeah, I saw that too.
So if he was coming out and say, "Listen, I got my record, I'm retiring this year," then there might have been that drive for the cup. But if he's coming back next year, hey, I think Montreal can take this. Another thing before we end this, because I know the next episode will be Stanley Cup post game after game 1. So I want to just like summarize this season. And we brought this up many times in the past and you said this many times, like a team, a successful team in the playoffs is having, first rounders, at least 3 or something. I think you said 3 drafts, players who score 30 plus goals, players who get over 70 points. We made those comments many times in the past. Like a contending team has more than 30 goal scorers. You have more than 3 80-point players. Those are teams that win the Stanley Cup. We're not far off. Okay. This season, we finally got the 2 30-goal scorers because we've been waiting for that for the last 5 seasons. Every time we have a prediction at the beginning of the season, we always said, we're going to have 3 30-goal scorers, and we've always got either one or none. But this year, we have Suzuki, who hit 30, and Cole, 37.
Yep.
All right? We have multiple 30-plus point players this season.
Yep.
That's a total of 9. could have been 10, but Ormia was short by 1. Anderson short by 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when we have over 14 players with more than 20 points, which is a very good plus for a team, especially a rebuild team. And we have, I just want to see something quickly, 12 10-plus goal scorers. That's the most we've seen in the league.
Yeah, or double digits. Yeah,
Double-digit goals.
That's true.
In
Well, what was it? Was it Zook that? So like the key number is like 250 goals, and we were short by like 9 or 10. Okay, no big deal. The only thing that worried me a little bit is like if you could check the stat, but we have the worst plus minus goal differential out of all the teams in the playoffs. So that is a bit concerning, but at the end of the day, what brings me comfort is, hey, playoffs is a different animal. Whatever happened this season,
we only have 4 players with a plus.
No, but I'm talking about as a team, like as the team, like in terms of like our goals for, goals against. Like I think we're at minus. We're in between. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we're at in between minus 15 and minus 20, which is a lot for a playoff team. But again,
like you said, it's a whole
past.
different beast.
It's done now.
Whole different season now.
Exactly. So no, they did it, man.
Look, the only
thing, did it.
The key,
they fucking did it.
They did it. But I want to say one thing. If we want to have any success in the playoffs, we need to get back that special teams.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Power plays and penalty kills.
1,000%.
We need to get back on top because we kind of declined on those 2 factors, which brought us to going to game 82. Because if we would have kept that consistency, we would have got that X weeks ago. All right.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So that has to come back.
Yep.
And we've said that many times this season. That's what brought us there. And another one, the first line has to show up.
Well, your best players have to be your best players. Your best players have to be your best players. Yeah.
You put a check mark on all 3. Yeah.
You need goaltending.
You put a check mark on all those 3 things. We have a good chance of winning.
Yeah, you got to put goaltending in there.
Yeah, okay, goaltending too.
Yeah. So Monday night, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot wait for Monday night. Thank God there's Easter weekend for us for us Italians, but oh man, I think I don't even know what to think anymore. I got everything out. I'm definitely excited, dude. Like I got everything out. I said what I had to say. That I think we could enter this Easter weekend. Just getting hyped. Well, hopefully we can relax. But come Monday is when the brand new season begins, man. So
I'm excited.
We'll call this an episode.
Yeah, let's do it. Until next episode, hopefully we have a good post-game show.
No, we'll definitely come back with a post-game show, and hopefully some of the remainders of the Curfew Boys can come back. So a big thank you to everyone who tuned in to this brand new episode on YouTube. Please click like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Hey, man, the hype is real. So share this with all your Habs friends around the world. Come take part of the conversation. We want to hear your thoughts. Leave your thoughts and your predictions in the comments too. If you like this Demigod t-shirt, leave a comment, Demigod. It's our way of knowing if we can bring back these t-shirts based on popular demand. All our episodes are available on audio. There it is. All of our episodes are available on audio platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Follow the Curfew Boys on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, or X, Facebook, and TikTok. A big thank you to our sponsors, Habs Cave, Les Délices Lafrenière, and Mike's Barbecue Rub. All of them on social media, on Instagram. Give them a follow. And I really, really appreciate you doing this. Thursday, April 17th. Happy Easter. Have a good weekend. Enjoy time with your families. Everybody be safe. eat away. It's another excuse, another reason to eat before the big game on Monday. So start carb loading for Monday's game. Until then.
Until next time. Bye
now. Good night.